All right, setting off in the B8.5 Audi S4. There is a lot to like here, folks. Compared to a 335, this is a much more performance-focused car. And as you can probably hear, this is not a stock one. This is basically full bolt-on. So you're talking a stage 2 tune, different pulley, full exhaust, intake, and whew, does it show. It obviously builds linearly to redline. Holy shit. But the torque down low is just ridiculous. That was 3,000 RPM, and it's snapping my neck. The dual clutch seems to suit this car really, really well. The engine and transmission combination, they just work together flawlessly. Now, right off the bat, the immediacy with this supercharger is just phenomenal. I had a N55 335 for a while, and it was stock, but this similar amount of power as one of these stock, but the power band was so much softer than this. This is razor sharp because of that the supercharger. It is instantaneous torque whenever you want it. And with that all-wheel drive system, you're always putting the power down perfectly. And the dual clutch really gives you a nice amount of control. I've got to say, I feel like the responsiveness of this dual clutch isn't quite what I was expecting. The shifts, don't get me wrong, the shifts are lightning fast, but the way that it responds to the paddles, it's not always perfect. And I feel like on half throttle shifts, it's not as snappy as I would expect. But when you're flat out, it really, really moves. The amount of power that you can get out of these things easily is so impressive. And for not that much money, for a couple of $1,000s, you're talking about a car that, in this case, makes 400 all-wheel horsepower. So here, I'm just gonna run it through, down to third, down to second, and you get a little higher red line with this tune too, so let's just run it through. Holy shit. Oh, this thing is fast. Wow. Every time I drive one of these, it makes me regret having bought that 335 all those, months ago now. Compared to a 335i, this just feels like a more cohesive package performance-wise. The handling is sharp, and with that sport diff, it'll actually rotate, especially with 400 all-wheel horsepower. It will rotate on power, on throttle. This all-wheel drive is a full-time 60-40 split, but with that torque vectoring rear differential, it will actually rotate on power. So you can feel the car start to move the rear around, and it really does neutralize some of the understeer that these cars are known for. Like coming in here in second, wow. Woo. That is just so impressive. The mid-corner grip on power is nuts. In kind of typical Audi fashion, you've got the engine hanging quite a ways out in front of the front tires. And so its initial desire is to push. This thing wants to understeer when you start to drive it really hard. But for one, with the right tires, the limits are so high that on the street, you're not gonna be getting understeer unless you're driving like an animal. And when you really start to get into some tight, twisty stuff and you're giving it a bit of gas mid-corner, you really do feel it start to rotate. And so if I was buying one of these, I would absolutely have to have one that has the sport differential, because otherwise I don't think that the handling would be as dynamic as this. There is a stability with this platform that you don't get from many other cars. Between the all-wheel drive system and just the general way that the suspension is set up, it is so planted mid-corner. It's... wow. Oh my God. Even in a fast corner like that, whoa, wow. Yeah, you get on the power and you feel that sport diff. You really, really do. It's not that it's oversteering. That's not what's happening. It's rotation at the back. It's such an easy car to drive quickly. That's what's so impressive about this thing. The amount of performance that you can extract with next to no effort is crazy. I'm used to driving my Z4M, which you want to drive that thing fast, it's going to require you to do a lot of work. This, holy shit. I mean, it does everything that you ask of it perfectly. And you could argue that that makes it a little less involving, and I guess, but the sheer capability and the drama of this engine, this powertrain, it makes up for it. I mean, I would totally be happy with one of these. Oh my God. The way that this thing shoots you out of a corner. The V6 exhaust note, I could take it or leave it, but that's not what it's about. It is about that supercharger whine. Holy shit. Woo! As far as would I go with the 6-speed manual or the dual clutch, that's a hard choice, because as much fun as I'm sure I would be having in the 6-speed car, the dual clutch just suits this thing so well. You get that fart on upshifts, the downshifts are so crisp, and it just feels right. I mean, this drivetrain is just a superstar, and then it's attached to a good-looking, reasonably priced, beautiful interior sedan. So you're getting a killer drivetrain, amazing interior, high-quality materials, good looks on the exterior, especially with the little modifications that Ryan's done with this car. The black wheels, the rear diffuser in carbon, the front lip. All of those little changes have really made this thing pop from the outside. And then you combine that with the sound and the way that it drives, and it's a hell of a package. Tell you what, I really did not expect to like so many different things about this car. Going into it, I knew that I was going to like the power. I knew that the throttle response was going to be killer. I didn't expect to enjoy the handling so much. There's more nuance here than I expected. Typically, an Audi is great at 6/7, and then you go over that and it's just a mess of understeer, and then they just don't rotate, and so there's really no way for you as a driver to correct a lot of these Audi's understeer. Whereas this, within reason, you come in hot, you get on the power a little bit early, it rotates, the rear, or the front that is, hooks again. Oh man, much more dynamic than I was expecting. Much more. If you think you're not going to like this thing because, oh, I'm worried about the understeer, I'm worried about the engine kind of hanging out in the front like a lot of these Audis do, don't be. I mean, on the street, you are not going to be disappointed with the way that this thing drives. It's really impressive. It's a driver's car. It really, really is. And for a big all-wheel drive sedan with, well, an automatic, dual clutch. Oh yeah. I mean, that was second gear in a hairpin. No understeer, no drama. It just pushes right through, and that's with 400 wheel horsepower. This is such an amazing platform. Yeah, Audi really did a fantastic job of making this a driver's car. And they're working with a formula that is kind of naturally at a disadvantage. They've got this front engine way out front. They've got the all-wheel drive system. They've got the additional weight of all of that. And to make it this dynamic and this much of a driver's car, when you're working with that kind of formula, just speaks to how well engineered this car is. So I hope that you've gotten something out of this first impression. This was not really a full review. This is my first drive of this car, first extensive drive that is. So I'm gonna give it back to its owner, and hopefully you've gotten something of substance from this video. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.